over yonder on my side of things, what did I do? I watched The Godfather.
Uh,
Sat and watched The Godfather.
so is this a rewatch or is this a first watch?
No, it is a proper watch because an attempt was done once before with some friends that it was not the right mood. It was not the right atmosphere. It was not a slow night. People were getting way too drunk, and it was,
Yeah, that's
not the attitude to be watching that movie under. So that attempt failed. But obviously it was one of those things where you're like, hey, knowing the, I realized watching it, I'm like, I know so many lines from this fucking thing. There's so much, not
from
just
the osmosis.
from the osmosis, right? Like not just in terms of like the your fucking part 5 door closing moment, not just those things, but like little bits and pieces of fucking you could act like a man. What's the matter with you? Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Like all these little bit things where I'm like, oh my god, every 20 minutes this movie's dropping a quote that I already knew, I'm
kind of shocked you hadn't given it more of a examination before this, considering you talk often about how much you like The Sopranos.
Love The Sopranos, love Goodfellas, Casino's all right. Love a lot of that, and yeah, exactly. It mainly also show and Punch Mom, some of the old mafia movies, and things like that. But yeah, it was just Godfather was a gap in the knowledge for a long time. It was when I was going back to rent all the old classics. That was one that, like, because I had started it with my friends, I was kind of like grabbing other things and I just never got back around to it. So, time came, did it. Guess what? Hey, fucking perfect movie. What are you going to say? Like,
Do they ask about the status of the gabagoo?
They actually bring up the gabagoo, the capico, the gabagoo, the prosciutto, and I want to say what's the third one? There's a third one, all in the same line. In the same line. What was it? Punch Mom? Punch Mom?
Is it cannolis?
What? Did you just yell what it was? No. Oh, okay. Gabagool, prosciutto, and Capicola. No, but Capicola is Gabagool. Capicola is Gabagool.
I don't.
There's a third
know.
one. All right. Anyway, I don't know, but it was in there, yeah, you got it all in early. You got the, as soon as like the camera like cut to a tight shot and you saw the jaw come up, I'm like, look how they massacred my boy, right? All of that, you see it coming. This the day of my daughter's wedding, but it's pretty incredible. But what I guess most like impacted by is the level of mozzarella. There you go, mozzarella. The level of I didn't realize that there was a Pichu stage to Al Pacino's Pikachu. Al Pacino's Raichu is the way that we know him now, right? Al Pacino, as we know him now, is it's Al, yeah, a righteous kill. Oh, touch but don't taste, look but don't touch. It's Crazy Al, yeah, Dunkachino.
There it is.
Right? That's the Al we know. That's not the Al that we always had. The Al that we used to was Carlito's Way, and even Tony Montana, back in the old days where he'd be a little bit more like, hey, I'm talking to you like this. I'm just everything's a little bit quiet. There's a little bit, I kind of have a little implication. I'm trying to.
I remember I was there.
It is what it is, And he would he'd speak very quietly. And it was only later that the hoo-ah came around, So I was like, oh, that's early phase, late phase. That's Pikachu, that's your Raichu, you know? When you watch this, he's way before that. He's not even at the quiet talker level yet. He's so young in this that he's just normal guy. He's just, there's like...
Don't understand.
Like...
What is a normal Pichu-No?
Michael Corleone is just a normal guy. There's nothing, there's no mannerism about it. He's just there.
He plays the Michael Corleone? I didn't know that.
You know?
I've never seen this movie, by the way.
Okay. Well, yes. He's absolutely... he's just like, oh, that's a guy. And he's an actor. Look at that. You know? He's so far away. He's so many degrees away of self-parody from she's got a great ass, you know, and they don't even remotely resemble the same person, and it's kind of wild. So there was a pre-evolution when I thought the earliest we got was that Carlito's Way energy, you know. Al Pichu-No, yes, exactly. There you go.
I don't understand why people don't know that I didn't watch The Godfather. I don't give a shit about Italian mafia crap.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a huge fan.
I don't give a shit.
I'm way...
The only thing I like about Casino and Goodfellas is Joe Pesci being terrifying.
Yeah. Spider, you stuttering prick, you. It's great. It's so much fun. But yeah, no, it was really, you know, and then of course the other things, you know, just in case you weren't aware, but like there's actors that are like bit parts in Goodfellas and bit parts in Godfather that become major parts of Sopranos later. You know, and things like that. So it all kind of connects.
Oh, and so in Sopranos, it's like, oh my, look, we got the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy from The Thing.
Yeah, so Chris Moltisanti is, he's like the second in command in Sopranos kind of guy. He's the dude that Joe Pesci shoots accidentally in Goodfellas. Spider, he's shooting him to make him dance, and he shoots him in the foot. Oops. And then... You know, and he kind of goes like, all right, whatever. Don't make me think about what I did. Like that whole scene is that. And then Phil Leotardo, one of the bad guys in Sopranos, is Billy Batts in Goodfellas, the guy who gets beat the fuck down at the bar and stomped out. That goes, go home and get your fucking shine box.
He gets pretty stomped out.
You know, so like all of these people are actually, yeah, there's a connection there. I would say that when you're going around the, quote unquote, accidentally, exactly. I'd say when you're going around...
Oops, we accidentally stomped on him in the bar for 10 minutes. Oops.
Shout outs to as well, the details like Joe Pesci doing the funny how scene. You know?
Yeah.
I'm funny. Funny how? What I'm some kind of comedian to you? Like that's improvised and actually totally based on a real made man back when Pesci was working at a restaurant that didn't take it too nicely. He was complimenting him. But all of that includes. So you can go through that, and for the most part, you know, I would imagine you do the Godfathers, you do the Scorseses. And
okay, have you seen So you're rewatching Godfather 1 for the first time, like, for real?
Yeah.
Have you seen Godfather 2 recently, or are you going to move on to that?
I'm going to move on to that.
The reason I ask is because even via Far Away and not being a fan of the genre, I have heard the most toxic shit about Godfather 3. Like, it is, like, the worst movie ever.
Oh, yeah. Old men fucking loathe that movie and will go to their graves spitting at it. That's what I've heard a lot about it. And I'm going to find out. We're gonna go
I see
and
the
we're gonna
same
find
amount
out.
of vitriol for that as I see for like a Rocky 5, where it's just like pretend it doesn't exist, just pretend.
Yeah, no. Godfather 3 is the DMC 2 of the 70s.
Best movie.
You know, absolutely. That's it. So, you get your Scorseses in there. You get your fucking, you know, your Francis Ford Coppola's, and I would also say is worth including at the very minimum the Sicilian scene of True Romance.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
If you haven't seen the movie, that's okay. That. You need to see those 10 minutes. The Sicilian scene is, it's chef's kiss. It's so fucking good. And so that's one of those things too. I showed Punch Mom that. We're just like, listen, man, this is a movie. It's not directed by, but it's written by Quentin Tarantino. So the flavor of the movie is like a little bit off sometimes, a bit weird, but the best scene in the movie by
except
far
for this one scene
is 10 minutes.
Two people talking.
10 minutes of two people talking, Tarantino-like dialogue, and you know, Chris Walken's doing Chris Walken at his best. Oh, this guy. And it's fucking beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. I'll take one of those Chesterfields now, if you don't mind. You know, the Moors. Anyway, you know me. You know me.
I do know you.
That is my jam. Boy, was that great. And rewatched it afterwards this weekend too, and had a good time. So yay. Look at that. Hot takes. The Godfather is a good movie. And
I bet it is.
Anytime anybody you meet is like, "Oh yeah, I'm from my family's Sicilian." You know, you just got to say, "Hey, you know the Moors."
A certain emoji pops to mind.
Just ... right there, and they're like, What about them?
So
either that or they'll go, I know the fucking movie. I've seen the movie, all right?
So the fucking cultural contamination in my mind takes a slightly different path, because you say Sicilian, then you say the Moors, then my brain auto-completes to the Moops.
What is that?
Are you familiar with this?
No.
Well, you see, George thought he was making great time getting down to the Hamptons, and Jerry lost the car. So then they got lost and they had to stop for directions, at which point George ended up talking to the Bubble Boy. Then, in a ploy to save time, they ended up playing Trivial Pursuit with the Bubble Boy, who correctly answered a trivia question, the Moors. However, the card was hilariously misprinted, at which point George said, "Nuh-uh, it's the Moops," causing the Bubble Boy to try and choke George, and in the ensuing struggle, the bubble was broken.
Fuck me. I don't remember that. I don't think I've probably only seen that episode once way back when. That's crazy.
I have seen every episode of Seinfeld a couple times. Let's just say a couple times.
I feel like I've seen every episode at least once, but I don't have them on catalog to that degree.
I used to watch so much Seinfeld when it was on syndication that my sister and I had a running competition to see how fast you could remember the plot of the episode. And it got to the point where it was before Jerry opened his mouth during the opening bit.
Wow.
Like the breathing for
he
that
doesn't
show
even do
was
the joke.
Yeah, that show was a lot on the TV in the household.
It was. For good reason. It still holds up.
I've talked about this in the past, except for one thing, and that's phones.
Yep.
It destroys the plot of almost every episode.
Have you watched all of Curb?
No. Curb is tough. Curb is tough.
I have to restart it. I was making good progress. I must have got a good 3 or so seasons in, but I've gotta like.
I stopped watching Curb because of you, actually. Because I was watching Curb and I watched the whole first season or first 2 seasons, and I came onto the podcast and I said, I don't get what's up with this show, because every episode Larry's completely right,
right,
and everyone's trying to get him.
Yeah.
And you looked at me like I had pulled out a gun. You looked at me like I was insane. And the room was like, Pat, what the fuck? Larry's insane. He's wrong in every situation.
The point
and
of
I'm
Curb.
like, I don't know.
The
that
point
guy
of
took
Curb.
his clubs and he's going to get buried with my clubs? Those are my golf clubs. What, I'm going to let him get buried in them?
The point of Curb is that Larry is consistent at very least, but always absolutely fucking like sociopathically self-involved. Well, anyway.
Shouldn't have borrowed my clubs and died.
Yep.